Hi, grade 12 physical science student. Welcome again on this video, where guys will be looking at organic molecules. And now we're going to start by focusing also, we're going to focus on this topic, we're going to focus guys on hydrocarbons and the three different types of hydrocarbons that are mainly going to be assessed on your examination, which will be alkanes and alkynes. So we're going to just focus on how to give the names of the basic hydrocarbons. So that's what we're going to focus on. Now let's get into it. Now, before maybe we can get into the topic, you remember that guys, in the previous video, we did look at how to define or what is the organic chemistry on this topic. So now we have said that, you remember that on the previous video, we said that organic chemistry is now commonly known as the chemistry of what? Of carbon compounds. So that is the broadly named now definition for organic chemistry. So now let's look at the organic molecules. Now, what are organic molecules? So as we've already defined this as the chemistry of what? Of carbon compounds. So organic molecules, therefore, we can also maybe also define it as this going to be the molecules that consist more of what? Of carbon. Or we can just simply say that organic molecules basically will be also what? The carbon molecules. But in this case, we're going to have also include hydrogen. So now, in this, now let's look at the definition of organic compounds, since we've said this is the chemistry of organic compounds. So what are organic compounds? Now, organic compounds, as you can see here, contain carbon and hydrogen atoms. So organic compounds are made up a compound that consist of carbon and hydrogen atoms. And this is not conclusive, therefore. And you remember that carbon, it also has other partners, which we have already mentioned, hydrogen. There are other ones which are called what? Oxygen, and we also talk of halogens. So all of these, they give us what? Organic compounds. They give us organic compounds. So this definition, it is broad, guys. It is not conclusive to only carbon and hydrogen for organic compounds. So now, these compounds, therefore, if we proceed, these compounds can be in the gaseous, liquid, or they can be also in the solid phase. So those are the three phases that we use of matter. So now it can be in the gas and in the gas phase, liquid phase, and also solid. So these organic compounds. So now we're going to start with the first group of organic compounds, which is called right there on the screen, as you can see. And this one are called what? Hydrocarbons. I'm going to try to bring the screen closer so that we can maybe see properly. And yeah, now let's see. Yes, now we are okay. Now let's look at this. Now we want to start with the first group of organic compounds, which is called what? Hydrocarbons. So what are hydrocarbons therefore? We can define hydrocarbons as we can define them as compounds that contains only, this word is key on hydrocarbons. As you can see, the word hydrocarbon, it's made up of two weights. Let me just remove this one just to indicate the weights. So it's made up of two weights. It's made up of hydro. The weight hydro is for hydrogen. Yes, the weight hydro is for hydro. It's coming from hydrogen. And the other weight that we can also spot here, it is what? It is carbon. So the weight also carbon, then this weight, therefore you can see that this weight, it also tell us here, we also have what? A atom, which is what is carbon. Yeah. So hydrocarbon, it is a joint weight of hydrogen and carbon. So basically on this hydrocarbon, it's only a compounds, meaning the group of compounds which are made up of only carbon and hydrogen atoms. So now we want to focus on that. Therefore, now these compounds can be saturated. And then what we mean by saturated, it means that these compounds, they have only single bonds between what? Between carbon to carbon. Let me just maybe put it there. So that's what is very key. This weight is very key. So now saturated hydrocarbons, between carbon to carbon, there is only one bond there, a single bond. If it's like this, between carbon to carbon, in all the structure of that we're going to have, and there's only single bonds between carbon to carbon, then we can say that compound, they are saturated. So I'm just repeating that. Now we also have hydrocarbons which are unsaturated. So now what do we mean by unsaturated? By unsaturated, therefore we mean that these hydrocarbons contains, or they have between their bonds, therefore there is double bond, and there's also a triple bond. So now these ones, we can say between carbon to carbon, once there is a double bond, a triple bond, in these hydrocarbons, therefore we can say they are unsaturated. So now how do we see that? Between carbon to carbon, there's a double bond. At least one, if there's one existence of double bond, therefore the compound would be unsaturated. Or it can be also be something like this. Between carbon to carbon, there is a triple bond. There's an existence of a triple bond between carbon to carbon. Then those hydrocarbons, we can say they are unsaturated. Now we need to also know how to define saturated compounds or hydrocarbons. How do we define saturated hydrocarbons? Now a compound in which all the bond between carbon atoms are single bonds. So that's how we define unsaturated hydrocarbons. That's how we define, I mean, saturated, that's how we define saturated hydrocarbons. We define them like that. Now, what are unsaturated, hydrocarbons? Therefore, then we define them as compounds in which there is at least one double bond or triple bond between carbon atoms. So that's how we define unsaturated. As I've already mentioned, I've shown you the diagram here at the top. This one, they are unsaturated because of these double bonds and triple bonds between carbon to carbon. So that's how we define unsaturated hydrocarbons. Now let's get into the groups of these hydrocarbons. Now I want to also maybe explain something here. So we have hydrocarbons. Yes, I'm just going to summarize this. So we have two types of groups of hydrocarbons. The first group of hydrocarbons, it is called, maybe I'll write it here, it's called aliphatic. The first group of hydrocarbons. Don't worry much about this. I'm just giving that information, but we don't have to worry about it. We won't be asked about any explanation about this, but it's information that maybe we might find it useful later on. And also the next group of hydrocarbon is called aromatic. So usually aromatic, these one are hydrocarbons that consist of are made up of cyclic. They are more of a cycle. Most of them, they are cyclic. They are cyclic hydrocarbons. So in their nature, okay, they are cyclic. Their structures are cyclic. Okay, and also this one, aliphatic. This one are hydrocarbons which forms what straight chain. They have their chain straight most, but it's not conclusive. They will also have aliphatic, which are cyclic, and then like I'm going to show you. But this one aromatic, they are strictly cyclic. That means they are more of the form chain that are cyclic, that a form chain that are cyclic, not a cyclic. So we have these two. So, but our main focus on this topic, guys, is going to be more on aliphatic, hydrocarbons, which are these ones that form that more straight chain. That's where we're going to focus. We're going to focus on the straight chains, not the one that forms cyclic. So for examination. So now these are the one that we're talking about. So this one here, this group of hydrocarbon are called aliphatic, but don't worry about the weight. So in these hydrocarbons, this one are called aliphatic. So therefore we have, let me just put the weight here, aliphatic. Yeah, so these are aliphatic hydrocarbons. So now we have two groups of them. We have saturated, and we have already mentioned what saturated does mean and what unsaturated does mean. Now we're going to continue now. So unsaturated, we have these two groups, which are called what? Are called alkanes and cycloalkanes. This one also cyclic. This one, they are forming a chain that are cycle around. So now we also have the unsaturated ones. aliphatic unsaturated. Therefore, the one that unsaturated, they are called what? They are called alkenes. Have E here compared to this one here. This one alkenes, this one alkenes. And then the one that have, so this one have single bond, as we've said, they're unsaturated. This one that means have a double bond. So this one, the one and the one that have a double bond, twin carbon to carbon. This one, twin carbon to carbon, there's only a single bond, alkanes. And but alkynes, these are this hydrocarbon that carries a triple bond between carbon to carbon. And also we have also the cyclo, the way that's from cyclic, therefore we have also cycloalkenes and also alkyne. So this one, they are chains, they have double bond, a triple bond, but they are forming a second, a chain upon, they form a second. So we're not going to be focusing on this one. And cycloalkenes, they are not going to be assessed for grade 12. So now the one that we want to focus on are the one that are single bond, double bond, and triple bond. So now, as I've explained earlier on, on this topic, guys, on this video, I'm going to just cover the basic names of these hydrocarbons. Therefore, so we're going to focus on these three. They are all hydrocarbons. This one are saturated with called alkenes. So now, this is the first group that I'm going to try to explain to you right now. So now, on the alkenes, we have the first name that belongs to this group, which the name it is called methane. It is called methane. Methane, the suffix of the name, it comes from the word alkene. Alkane here. That's where it's coming from. So this one, it looks like this. That is an alkane. So the following name, therefore, there is going to be called E. The word it here, it means two. The word meth, it means one. The word it is two. So, and then if you say ethane, therefore that means the compound. We're going to have two carbons like this. But remember, each carbon has 4 covalent bonds. So this is how ethane is going to look like in this case. This is an ethane. So yes, because the hydrocarbons here, there are hydrogens. Definitely, you can put the hydrogens here. You can put the hydrogens if you like. You can just put hydrogens. So this will be hydrogen. So let me just remove this one here. Create the space. So this is how a methane it will look like. So now, if we want to draw, maybe if you want to draw ethane, therefore let me just put it here. Create some space. So this would be ethane. Ethane. It means two. That means it's gonna have 2 carbons for this one. Yeah, and look more like this. And here are hydrogens, and then each carbon has 4 covalent bonds around it. 4 covalent bonds. This is how ethane is going to look like. So now let's continue a little bit. Let's go down again. This is the first group, and then this one has 2, and then the next one is called propane. 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 Therefore, as you can see, the weight so it has 3. It's going to have 3. And it's going to look more like this. Then around the point that we're going to add the hydrogens. Remember, the hydrogen there, but just for the sake of this video, I just want to highlight that part. Then we also have butane. And wood, it means 4. It has 4 carbons. So therefore, it's going to look more like this. But remember, each carbon has 4 carbon bonds around it. So 4. So there you're going to add the hydrogens around this. The hydrogens around that. Around these carbons, the hydrogens. So this is how butane is going to be looking like. There are single bonds between 2 carbons. Please make note that this means single bonds. These are single bonds. So therefore, there is also what also about pentane. Pentane, it means that it has 5 between carbons, but they are all single bonds, guys. All single bonds. Just maybe to give an idea. So around this, there are hydrogens on these bonds there, because we're talking about hydrocarbons. So the other one following it's going to be hexane. Hexane, it means 6. I'm just want to just sum it up like this. Yeah, it's another one, 6. Just so you know that, guys, that around this carbon there's 4 covalent bonds. There are 4 covalent bonds all the time. That's a rule. We should not forget that. And then we can continue as many as we want. We have also heptane. That could be number 7, heptane. So it has 7, 2, 3, 7. So like that, and then still have 4 covalent bonds around it. 4 covalent bonds. So just maybe Yeah, plus guys, trying to write this as much as possible so that we don't waste time. But also we have obtain. Obtain is going to be number 8, and then we have what? No name, and also we have the last one that I'm going to add here is going to be a decay. So this, it means that it has 10 in the chain. In that straight chain, there's 10 of these carbons. There's 10. It's going to be 10. So, but basically, it's very important maybe if you can know all of these 10, and then for exam purposes, make sure that you know these 10, how to write the name of these 10. And then also now, let's continue now. Also, we have alkenes. We have alkenes that EFP. Therefore, now, what would be the first alkene that we're going to have here? Definitely, we don't have, because we won't have a methane. Remember, methane, guys, we don't have this. We don't have a methane. And we won't have what we call something like this. It does not exist. We don't have a methane. Why don't we have a methane, guys? The simple reasons, guys. Remember, these are unsaturated. They have double bond between carbon to carbon. So this myth, it means one. So there's not an existence of the double bond where there's only one carbon. So we don't have anything. So basically, we want to start with what? We're going to start with 8. So 18. We're gonna start with 18. So now how is it going to look like 18? We have 8. 8 means what? 2, but it's going to be 18. So 18, it means that the chain has how much? It has 2. On the chain is 2 carbon. Therefore, remember, each carbon must have what? 4 covalent bonds. So we can add another 2 bonds there. We can add 2 bonds. That's how 18 is going to look like. So, and you also have what? Propane. Propane, it means that it's 3. So we're going to continue like that. Right. Add another one. So this is how, propane is going to look like. Each carbon must have 4 covalent bonds. You must make sure that, guys, we remember the part. I'm just writing the basic names, guys. So we're gonna explain the rules of how to give the names later on. But on this video, I just want to give you the basic names of this. So as we can see, we can just change the names therefore from these ones. From 15 with propene, therefore it's going to be butane. But this is just the basic name, guys. It's not yet the rule. If we're gonna tell you the rules, I want to show you how to indicate the position of these double bonds. So yes, this one it means 4. There's going to be 4 carbons, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be 4 double bonds. Double bonds doesn't mean that. So if it's just 4 carbons, 4 both, it means 4, and there's also a 1 double bond there. And then you're also gonna have what? Pentene. Pentene, it means 5. There's 5 carbons. There's going to be 5 carbons. And then here, as I said, there's going to be 4 carbons, but plus a double bond. And then you're going to have also hexene. And then it means this one is going to have 6 carbons, and then plus a double bond. And then you're going to have also heptene. Heptene is going to 7 plus a double bond. 7 carbon plus a double bond is going to be there. And then also in there, we also have octane, and then also have a name, and then also have a d. Okay, this is what we're going to have therefore. So now coming to the other group, therefore, this one here, alkene, the one unsaturated. Remember, I also unsaturated triple bond, this one. So the first group that we're going to have, we won't also have here, basically also again, we won't have also what we call a methane like this. We don't have something like this. Why? So we can't have this. Yes, and can't exist because of what? In order for it to have a double bond, it must exist. It must be at least 2. Carbon. So that now we can start then. Therefore, the basic name of this one is going to be ethane. So that's where we're going to start. This one, how does it look like? Therefore, we're gonna have how many carbons here? Let's just maybe say there's going to be 2 carbons because 8 means 2, and then there's 3. 3 double bonds. There's a triple bond there. So they're going to look like this around it. So there's 3 double bonds, and then this carbon is going to have 1. This one going to have 1 this side. So, but all in all, these carbons they still have 4 covalent bonds. So the next group, therefore, is called what? We're going to call in the next name is going to be propine. Propine means 3. That means going to be 3. So then there's triple bond. So this one's going to have 1. Since this one in the middle has 3 and this side has 1, because it's 4, it's copper. So this one you can also add here, this side. So that's how we give the name of this following one. So we can continue. We have also what? Wood, time. We have pen. Sorry, we also have pen time. And we also have sign. We can also going to have also time. Also gonna have years, as you can see now. 10 I'm gonna also add here. So I think that's basically what you need to know as a start into this organic molecules. So these are the basic names that you need to be able. So as we have said, therefore here, it's very important to understand with this one, it will have 4. What it means 4? It will have 4 carbon in the chain. The straight chain is 4 carbons plus what a triple bond. It must be triple, at least 1 triple bond there. And then this is going to be 5 carbon, and then pen time is 5, and plus at least we got a triple bond must be there, triple bond. And it's going to have 6 carbons, and then plus a triple bond because of alkyne, Y and E. So that is what you need to know basically on this name. So now I'm gonna leave it here, and then the next part, what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to explain how to distinguish between a saturated and unsaturated, especially in the laboratory. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and then share it with your other fellow students. And then if you enjoy, make sure you guys also spread the word. And then we're gonna talk the next part. The next part, we're gonna distinguish how in the laboratory, how do we, because that question is going to be asked in the examination. So thank you very much, guys. See you on the next video.